Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever had over 1.8 million viewers. This is now on an NFL Sunday. They had over 1.8 million viewers, and the rest of the games had around 400,000 viewers. These people are coming in waves to watch one player who has sold out every single arena that she has played in this season. Well, I have not seen the viewership reports for the games last night yet, but I'm sure that it is probably double of what the Indiana Fever game got on Sunday.
Have you ever felt like you deserved a raise even when your company was struggling? That's exactly what WNBA players are going through right now. They're bringing in record crowds, but the league is still losing millions. It's a tough situation, and I bet some of you have been there before. You work hard, you see results, but the money just isn't there. We're gonna break down this WNBA drama and see if there's a way out. Trust me, you'll want to hear this. You know what's crazy? The WNBA is losing $40 million this year. That's insane. Picture this: packed arenas, TV ratings through the roof, but the league's bleeding cash like there's no tomorrow. It's like throwing a massive party where everyone's having a blast, but you're footing the bill and your credit card's maxed out. Now, the NBA owners are getting antsy. They've been pumping hundreds of millions into this league since 1996. That's over 25 years of writing checks and watching their investment struggle. Imagine being in their shoes. You keep believing in something, pouring your money into it, but year after year, it's just not hitting the mark. So where's all this money going? Let's break it down. First up, player salaries. The WNBA's got some serious talent, and they're not playing for peanuts. Then you've got travel costs. These teams are flying all over the country, staying in hotels, eating out, and don't forget about arena rentals. Those massive stadiums don't come cheap, even if they're not always full. But here's the kicker: the WNBA isn't alone in this struggle. Other women's sports leagues are facing similar challenges. The National Women's Soccer League, for example, has been fighting an uphill battle too.
She has lived up to expectations, right? I'm looking at her the way I look at LeBron James, right? For us, just in the women's side of things, and the hype that she had, the expectations she had.
Let's start with the rookie, Caitlin Clark Kent. Superwoman, you see what I did there? She was on a tear, and last night was no different. Wings, fever. Caitlin Clark set to go as she broke the single-season assist record.
She's been playing like a top 5 player in the league. She's been regularly dishing out double-digit assists in that time frame. Teams can no longer blitz her and trap her.
It's like there's this invisible barrier holding back women's sports from really taking off financially. So if they're losing so much, why keep the league going? That's the million-dollar question. Or in this case, $40 million question. You'd think after years of losses, they'd just throw in the towel. But the NBA sees something here. They're not just throwing good money after bad. Think about it like this: the NBA is playing the long game. They see the WNBA as a long-term investment. It's like planting a tree. You don't get fruit right away, but if you keep watering it, keep nurturing it, eventually it'll grow into something amazing. The NBA is betting that women's basketball is going to explode in popularity, not just in the US, but globally. And you know what? They might be onto something. Women's sports are gaining more attention than ever before. More girls are playing basketball. More fans are tuning in, and there's a growing demand for diverse sports content. The NBA is positioning itself to be at the forefront of this revolution.
I wonder if Caitlin, in every post-game press conference and every interview that she did with reporters and anytime she did any media, if she came out and talked about the kind of hateful comments that she was getting. It's a lot. And so it's not just Caitlin Clark fans or Indiana Fever fans. It is not all going in one direction. The death threats that she was getting, the stalking allegations that she was getting, if she came out and told everybody the reason why she has personal security that goes with her every single place.
Amidst this growing excitement, enter Caitlin Clark, the rookie sensation who's setting the league on fire. But hold up, you'd think everyone would be thrilled, right? Well, here's where things get complicated. Why are some players secretly hoping she'll fail? Caitlin Clark steps on the court and boom, everything changes. This rookie isn't just good, she's rewriting the rulebook. Crowds are pouring in to see her play, and merchandise with her name is flying off the shelves faster than you can say triple-double. It's like she's got some kind of basketball magic, and fans can't get enough. But here's the wild part: not everyone's thrilled about Clark's success. Some of the very players who are benefiting from her popularity, they can't stand her. It's like high school all over again, where the new kid shows up and suddenly becomes the center of attention. You've got veterans who've been grinding for years, and now this rookie rookie comes in and steals the spotlight. It's creating this weird tension in the locker rooms and on the court. Let's break down Clark's impact because it's honestly mind-blowing. Attendance through the roof, TV ratings skyrocketing, social media buzz off the charts. She's not just playing basketball, she's putting on a show every time she steps on the court.
She's the first rookie to win WNBA Player of the Month since the award's inception in 2010, and last night it was no exception. They were sky high for Caitlin Clark and the Fever, but to start the season, they had a little bit of a rough go of it. They lost their first 5 games. They ended up 1-8 through their first 9 games, and during that first month, the playoffs, they didn't feel realistic at all. Indy entered the Olympic break 11-15 on the year, and then they really turned it around. They've won 7 of their 8 since. They clinched a playoff berth for the first time since 2016, which, by the way, was the last year of Hall of Famer and franchise icon Tamika Catchings.
Fans are tuning in just to see what she'll do next. Now, compare Clark's rookie season to other WNBA legends' first years. It's not even close. She's making moves that took others years to master. It's like she skipped the rookie learning curve and went straight to season pro. Some are already whispering about her being the next face of the league. So with all this success, surely the league's turning things around, right? Well, here's where it gets tricky. Despite Clark's stardom, it's not enough to offset those massive losses yet. The WNBA is still in the red, even with this phenom lighting up the scoreboard. It's like having a superstar employee who brings in tons of new business, but the company's still struggling to pay the bills. You'd think with all this red ink, the NBA would be itching to bail, but they're not. In fact, they're tightening their grip on the WNBA. Some NBA owners are fuming, demanding answers. What's Adam Silver not telling them? And what's the endgame here? Let's break it down. The NBA isn't just throwing money at the WNBA, they're calling the shot. They own 60% of the league. That's like having the majority stake in a business that's bleeding cash. Most people would cut and run, but not the NBA. They're in it for the long haul, and that's got some folks scratching their heads. Now picture this. You're an NBA owner. You've been pumping millions into the WNBA for years, and you're still not seeing a return. You're starting to get antsy. You want answers. That's exactly what's happening behind closed doors. Some big-name owners, like James Dolan of the New York Knicks, are pressing NBA Commissioner Adam Silver for some straight talk. They're tired of the smoke and mirrors. They want to know where their money's going and when they'll start seeing some green. But here's where it gets really juicy. The WNBA's finances? They're all tangled up with the NBA's. It's like trying to separate spaghetti noodles without a fork. This setup is raising eyebrows. How can anyone really know what's going on with the WNBA's money when it's all mixed in with the NBA's big pot? It's making some people wonder if there's more to the story than we're being told. So why is the NBA holding on so tight? It's all about playing the long game. They're not just looking at next season or even the next 5 years. They're thinking globally. Women's basketball is growing worldwide.
200,000 more people came to watch the Indiana Fever than any other team in the league. The second best was 400,000. The Fever attendance is 200,000 more people this season than any other organization. The Liberty is next at 400,000. These are numbers when people talked about at the beginning of the season, the high tide lifts all boats or whatever, basically. Like, if you buy into this, everybody is going to eat.
And the NBA wants to be right there when it explodes. They're positioning themselves to be the big dogs in a market that could be huge down the line. But this strategy, it's not sitting well with everyone. Some NBA owners are feeling the pinch. They're watching their investments disappear into what looks like a black hole. And they're starting to ask some tough questions. How long can this go on? When will the WNBA start pulling its own weight? And most importantly, is this really the best way to grow women's basketball? Just when it seemed like the WNBA's financial woes were insurmountable, a $2.2 billion lifeline appears. But hold on, why are the players threatening to walk away right when things are looking up? The answer might surprise you. You heard that right, $2.2 billion. That's the kind of money that could change everything for the WNBA. We're talking about a massive TV deal set to kick in by 2026. This isn't just a little bump in pay. It's a game changer that could triple the league's annual rights revenue. We're looking at potentially $180 to $200 million a year just from TV rights. That's the kind of cash that could turn this whole ship around. But here's where things get complicated. The players? they're not exactly jumping for joy. In fact, they're talking about opting out of their current contract by November 2024. You'd think with all this money coming in, everyone would be happy, right? Wrong. The players want a bigger slice of this new pie, and they're willing to fight for it. Now, let's break this down. On one side, you've got the league finally seeing some serious money on the horizon. This could be their ticket to profitability after years of losses. But on the other side, you've got the players who've been grinding it out on relatively low salaries, watching the NBA rake in billions. They're saying, hey, we've been here through the tough times. We deserve to cash in now that things are looking up. So what happens if the players get their way? Well, that's where it gets tricky.
WNBA Player of the Week. There have only been 40 triple-doubles in the history of the WNBA. Cheryl Swoops recorded the first WNBA triple-double during the 1999 season, while Caitlin Clark logged the most recent triple-double earlier this week. She now has 102 on the season and is 19 away from Diana Taurasi in second place and 26 away from UNESCO of the New York Liberty. She ain't beating Asia Wilson for the MVP, but she's beating Angel Reese for the Rookie of the Year. That's a wrap. That's over. And props to Angel Reese, who's had a good year, by the way.
If player salaries shoot up too much, it could eat into any profits from this new deal. The league could end up right back where it started, losing money, just with bigger numbers all around. It's like finally getting that raise at work, only to find out your bills have gone up even more. But here's the thing, even with this massive deal, there's no guarantee the WNBA will suddenly start printing money. It's a high-stakes gamble. The league is betting that this influx of cash, combined with growing popularity and maybe some new teams, will finally push them into the black. But if they can't manage it right, player demands outpace growth, or if viewership doesn't keep climbing, they could find themselves in an even deeper hole. So here we are, folks. The WNBA standing at this crazy crossroad. You've got this insane popularity surge, thanks to players like Caitlin Clark, but at the same time, the league's bleeding money like there's no tomorrow. And now this massive TV deal is on the horizon, promising to shake things up even more. Will Caitlin and her crew be enough to turn this ship around? Man, I wish I had a crystal ball to tell you. But one thing's for sure, the next few years in women's basketball are gonna be wild. We're talking edge-of-your-seat drama, both on and off the court. The players want their piece of the pie, the league's trying to stay afloat, and fans are hungry for more. It's gonna be one hell of a ride.